Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stonehearth Alpha 14. No longer a dev candidate or a development version of it. Alpha 14 is now officially out and available to play immediately via your Steam client. So Alpha 14 finally here. It seems like it's been a while, but really it hasn't been that long since we started the Alpha 14 kind of pre-release version here. We've seen it kind of go from a more unstable kind of build to a fully fledged, very, very stable build. The performance has been outstanding so far. So let's take a look at where we last left off. We expanded out this side of the town here and kind of got all the agricultural things taken care of. The bunny statue still remains with a little kind of heart on it and everything. Still expanding the second tier of the city out this way. I wish I were better at doing the customized buildings, because I feel like that is kind of where my creativity lacks in terms of city design, but I'm doing the absolute best I can. They're going to be finishing this. This is another dining hall for the upper tier here. A grizzled traveler approaches. Welcome to the area, folks. We've been here for a while, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Here's something to help. Farmer's own Ravager. Okay, thanks, man. We'll take it. Do we have any enemies that are randomly spawned? Not really. Not particularly, so I feel pretty good about that. We've had a couple comments going on the last couple videos that have been released here. A little bit sporadic, right? Because work, YouTube is not my full-time job. Clearly, I have another full-time job that I have to kind of focus on outside of YouTube. But that being said, let's take a look here. So the first comment is a really, really, really good suggestion. And they were talking about making use of the maintain functionality in all the crafting like workshops and everything like that. And I completely agree. We should have been using this far, far long ago. It's going to save us a ton of work in terms of clicking through all these crafting benches all the time. So I definitely agree with that. I think what we're going to do here is to say maintain 2 of these, maintain 2 of those, maintain 2 of these. That way our animals are always going to be fed. We don't even need to worry about it anymore. Over here, oh, I don't know, maintain like 5 of them, I guess. Maintain 5 of them, I guess. Okay, there we go. And here we'll maintain like, I don't know, maybe like 2 of them. Sounds like a pretty reasonable thing to do. The second comment that we want to kind of respond to, I suppose, in video format is a couple of you wanted to see my video settings. So let's take a look here. Under graphics, this is what they are. They're not too detailed. The anti-aliasing level will only go up to a little, which is kind of surprising. Enable high quality graphics, enable ambient occlusion. This is what it is. And you can even see what graphic card I'm using up here too. Hopefully that helps. I'm not sure if you guys were trying to compare it or say that your graphics are terrible or your graphics are great. Either way, that's what they're, and that's what they're going to remain to be. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. There they are. This area I feel pretty good about. I've been kind of looking at it off camera for a little bit, and I think I'm okay with how that looks. I don't think we're going to touch that. What we do need to kind of consider doing is building the graveyard, right? And we also need to start on the third level of buildings up here, which are going to be all the clay structures. So, that being said, let's take a look here. Look at roads. We do clay roads. All of the clay buildings are kind of a lighter shade color-wise, so maybe we do like red roads up here. I don't hate the idea of that. Let's just grab this and expand it maybe all the way out here for now. And that'll kind of, oh, do we like that? It's kind of a, I'm not entirely sure that I really like that. Okay, finish that and remove it. Yeah, remove this building. Let's try again. Maybe something like, what about something like this? This is just pretty much like a gray clay road though, isn't it? Yeah. We can go with that. We can always change it as we found out. So let's just start with this. Finish editing. We'll go ahead and build it. It's going to take 13 clay bricks. So let's make sure that we have enough clay bricks to go around. Let's take a look. So let's just build 12 of them because I know we already had some in reserves. That being said, we're also going to need to slice down. And we're going to Shepherd level 3. What do you get? Extra bonuses. Shepherd skill produces greater yields and animal products. Great job. All of this still needs to... Oh my god, we have so much stuff we still need to do. Let's go ahead and just mine all of this out, and that should give us some clay at the very least. And then, do we need to do a loot command here? Did they just forget about all this? Indeed, they did. So they will work on looting all of that and kind of digging out that tunnel for us as well. Do we have any other building projects that are queued up at the moment? I don't think we do. There was another subscriber who commented saying that we could wall some of these off, fill in these holes that we have for kind of the entrance ways, and instead replace them with doors. So essentially what that would do is it'd make the creatures kind of have to go all the way around to get to our hearthlings, but our hearthlings would still be able to travel back and forth kind of unimpeded by the wall, since they would have, well, doors. Artistic inspiration. When inspiration strikes, the potter may, but not always, embellish his or her works in unexpected ways. Beautiful, great job, I'm proud of you. How many hearthlings do we have currently? We have 20 hearthlings. This is the most we've ever had. 6 workers right now, and pretty much every profession taken care of at this point. So, that being said, I wanted to pose a question to the audience, because I know Stonehearth is one of the most popular series on the channel so far. And I would imagine that's because you're all kind of into it, you've all been following it, or at least, you know, enjoy the gameplay or whatever it may be. But with Alpha 14 officially released, what would you, as fans of the game, like to see in Alpha 15? Personally, I would like to see another combat class added. I don't particularly care what it is. It could be an archer, it could be a mage, it could be a spearman, it could be whatever you wanted it to be. It's nighttime, so it's gonna get a little bit framey. There's nothing we can do. You just have to deal with it. But what would you like to see? That would be my my thought, just out of the top of my head, is another combat class would be kind of cool. But what would you want to see? That's the question I'm gonna pose to you. And you can answer in the comments, or you can always talk to me on Twitter. I did set up a Twitter. I've basically never used Twitter in any way, shape, or form, so it'd be kind of interesting to get into that. I know a lot of people use it, and a lot of people like it, and it's pretty easy to use in terms of, you know, responding to comments. Responding to comments on my phone is... it can go either way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it kind of doesn't. It'll like open up the video, and then I have to pause my own video, and it counts as a view, and then it gets all complicated from a creative or a creator standpoint. It gets all confusing. But respond to that question. You can do it in the comments. That's fine. It just might take me a little bit longer to respond to you, or shoot me a tweet, as it were. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at one of the buildings. And I think maybe we just, oh, I don't know. What do we do here? Cottage for 2? Let's start with a cottage for 2. Let's just plop one of these guys down. Maybe just like a so. And then what we need to do, and what I've been doing in terms of like customizing these buildings, is I've just been saying like, okay, we're just gonna make it clay and we're gonna figure it out. So we can do like the orange roof. We can do some of the like the lighter color roofs. Let's take a look here. What what kind of options do we have? So we have like the orange kind of coloration to it, which isn't too bad in all honesty. Something like this maybe. Something like that. And we could even, if we want to get really fancy with it, we could even try to do like, you know, different colors on it. I don't know. Does it look good? I'm not sure. Just to make them stand out like a little bit more, I guess, is kind of the thought behind that. It could look good. It could not. I don't particularly have like a great eye for this type of thing. So I'm gonna be kind of reliant on you guys more or less to tell me like that looks awful, or that doesn't look bad, or it's passable. Great job. Do we go with that? I think that might be too much. Maybe we just stick with something like that and feel good about it. This kind of pokes out in a weird way. Oh, that's not what we want. That's not what we want either. That could... Yeah, I think that's actually how it's supposed to be. So let's go ahead. I'm not in love with this doodad right here, but we can always remove it at a later point. And this is also going to take like 2 of the regular beds, I think. Can we get rid of this? Perfect. Okay. We need to start looking at this kind of stuff. Let's get rid of that. Well, we can't get rid of those right off the bat. So that's fine. We can always come back in here and edit it at a later point. And that might be a good starting point for us, at least for the time being. So let's go ahead and build one of those guys and feel good about it. Just click back on over here, finish editing. We need a bunch of clay bricks. We need wood logs for the pillars, I would imagine. Wooden door. We can replace all the wooden stuff at a later point in time. I'm not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and say, yes, start building. And they'll get to work on that for us. Now, in terms of that, let's take a look at our carpenter. And say we'll build one of those. It's gonna take 2 of these. And then 2 of these. And I know we could use maintain functions for all of this stuff. But I think what we're gonna do is probably create a custom template for the buildings we want in the next tier. And that's where we'll kind of get all this taken care of. Because a lot of it is gonna come from the potter as opposed to the carpenter, right? So for example, we know that we will need like 2 of these, right? But we may as well give them comfy beds, right? That makes sense. Can we sell anything? I'm sure we can. So much gold, man. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. Let's get rid of it all. Can we get rid of anything else? We have some fine furniture that we will potentially put somewhere here at some point. Vague. Very vague. What else do we have here? We have some like cool little like planters and stuff like that we can use to kind of construct these buildings and make them look a little bit more unique. That's one thing I want to work on. So this area was supposed to be kind of like the higher class portion of the city, but it doesn't really feel that way. And I noticed this just by kind of taking a look at it off camera for a while. I'm like, it doesn't really have any character. Like down here has way more character than up here. Like it has like these flowers, has bushes in front. And we can do a lot in terms of making this other area look a little bit better. Like we put the standards, like the flags, right? We put all those up there and that doesn't look too bad. But I feel like we can do more. And I think how we're gonna do that is we're gonna use the weaver and we're gonna make a lot of these like curtains and stuff like that and try to kind of spruce the area up a little bit more. And I wanna focus on that on this next tier up here, right? So like we should like cut this thing out, for example, and make it like a little like square that has like benches and a fountain and stuff like that. Same thing like over here. So it's just not like a row of buildings. That's what I want to kind of avoid moving forward in terms of like building in Stonehearth. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Now that I'm kind of like registering what I just said, and it is a little bit confusing, but I think it makes sense. And maybe we can just show you kind of what I mean by that. Let's take a look at the loom. And right, like we can make like 6 of those. And we can use these things. Well, let's wait until they make them. It's going to take them a second. And we're going back into nighttime, so it's going to be another slow period. Oh, these lighting effects, man. Maybe we should take some of these lights off. Like undeploy that. We can probably undeploy this one. Pardon me. Is there anything else? We could probably like undeploy this one over here as well, but maybe not. I think we would undeploy this one if anything. So I'll undeploy a couple more of the lighting effects that are kind of plaguing the game as of right now, and maybe that'll kind of fix things up a little bit here for us. How are we doing over here, guys? Are we are we gonna be able to do this? Oh man, we should have changed the floor. That's okay. That's not too big of a deal, really. I feel like they're gonna be able to do it. I've yet to see the Hearthlings like come across something that they can't build. Early on in the pre-release of Alpha 14, I tried to do my own custom like tower building, and it had like 2 stories, and it was like twice as tall as this one. They were unable to accomplish that task, and it gave me so many errors because of it. That essentially I just had to reload the game and just say like, okay, we're just gonna be fine with these little kind of squat towers. But that's, it's to be expected from when you're playing, pre-release games, especially like the early access games. Like, it's not gonna do everything you want it to do, or necessarily everything that the developers promised it would do. At least not yet. I'm not saying it'll never do those things. I'm just saying it's not capable of it yet. Are these shadows? Oh, I've never noticed those shadows before. Those look kind of cool. Yeah, they look pretty good. Did this get completed? It did. Perfect. We'll take that off. So the plan is to start this kind of 3rd tier of buildings, right? And as we kind of progress along there, I'm not sure if we're gonna get too many more like enemy encounters. Like, do we have anything down here? Not really. We've already kind of taken care of all the things that spawn down here, as you can see from all the loot just kind of strewn around. We also have this giant like lake area, and this thing just kind of falls off the edge of the world. I'm curious to see. Hold on, I'm curious now. Let's take a look at roads. Okay, we can't. Oh, we can. We can like build out onto this, which is interesting. Does it work better with like a floor, I wonder? Potentially. That'll be interesting. So maybe make like some like lake houses, or like a lake keep or something along those lines. We're gonna have to look into that. It's something that we've never done on any of our series before, like building on water. And I heard that like if you mine this, it'll actually like the water will follow. So we could potentially even do something like that, where we could maybe like mine this and have it come down here, maybe we'll have to take a look at it. Anyways, it's gonna be a little bit shorter of an episode than usual, and I do apologize for that. Well, why aren't you guys working? Are we out of resources? Maybe let's take a look. Indeed we are. Maintain, let's say 10. This maintain function, man, should have done it earlier. It's a very good comment, very good suggestion. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. I just wanted to get one out here and kind of respond to some of the comments and make sure that you guys know that content from Stonehearth is going to keep coming out. You've probably seen a lot of content in terms of like XCOM 2, because that just came out and it's one of my favorite franchises in games in general. So you're going to see more of that coming out on the channel. Hope you guys are liking that. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and all the love and support that you've given the series so far. If you did enjoy the episode or enjoy the series, please consider leaving that like. It does help out so very, very, very much. And if you want to see more, go and subscribe to the channel. Until then, we will see you in next episode.